Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Anthony Lugg. More needs to be done to transform the Kingston port into a major logistics hub in the Caribbean and globally. The call comes from international expert and CEO of Vespucci Maritime, Lars Jensen. Speaking at the Shipping Association of Jamaica's 85th anniversary lecture, he pointed to several measures which he believes need to be taken for the country to improve its competitiveness in the industry.
When you're operating a major transshipment hub, stable and reliable operational throughput is absolutely key. If I have two different terminals and they're equal in terms of their average performance, I would always choose the one that is stable and don't vary much. Because if it's a good average performance, but sometimes it's fantastic, sometimes it's horribly poor, that's going to throw my schedules out of whack if I'm a container line. So a stable, reliable throughput. And as I mentioned, have the capacity to provide resilience. It's overcapacity equals resilience.
He says keen attention should also be placed on the U.S. presidential elections, as a Trump win could mean.
We could easily see suddenly a U.S. massive tariff on Mexico. What will U.S. importers then do? Will they say, okay, fine, we're going to pay the import tariffs? Unlikely. What they would rather do is to say, okay, are there other countries nearby here where we could do the same thing? And I'm not necessarily saying that would be Jamaica, but that could be other places around Central America, around the Caribbean, around South America. That just changes the trade flow. And again, that favors a setup where a lot of the trade goes through a few large hubs, because whenever there are new tariffs, it's just a matter of changing the feedering services, but you can still use the same backbone shipping services irrespective of how these trade flows move. So again, having this centralized setup makes the supply chain enormously flexible when suddenly trade flows can change depending on the prevailing winds that happens in tariffs.
There are concerns that not enough small tech companies and MSMEs are taking advantage of grant funding to expand their operations. Program Manager of the Jamaica Technology and Digital Alliance, Alexia Beckford, says through grant funding, businesses can bypass the need to acquire capital through borrowing. She says this will be part of the focus at the upcoming BizTech conference later this month.
Tech companies and non-tech companies have always said they need help with raising capital. And a lot of this capital raising comes from the fact that you can get access to funding if you know how to write grants. And that's why we'll be having a grant writing workshop, because we want you to get access to some of the funding. But if you don't know how to write, how can you gain access?
In the meantime, there's optimism that more SMEs are embracing the use of technology to improve productivity.
We have a lot more tech companies, and we also have a lot more tech-enabled companies. A lot of companies are recognizing that they need tech to get where they need to go and to utilize, whether it be a customer relationship management software, a productivity tool, AI, chat GPT, just using Asana when it comes to projects to really help them get where they need to go.
BizTech 2024 will take place on November 20 to 21. It will include workshops and discussions on critical technology topics such as renewable energy, data protection, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. Foreign exchange trading ended today with banks and cambios selling the American dollar for an average $159.12. The Canadian dollar is being sold for $114.02. $204.98 is the average value of the pound, while the euro is going for $175.63. To the stock market now, both the main and junior markets of the JSE advanced today. The main index climbed by 150 points, while the junior market advanced by 12 points. Among the 46 winners were ISP Finance Services, Epley 7.25% shares, Paramount Trading, JPS 7% shares, and MPC Caribbean Clean Energy. The 47 losers include The Lab, AMG Packaging and Paper, MFS Capital Partners, Margaritaville Turks, and Epley. 29 stocks traded firm. And that's the Business Day. I'm Anthony Lugg. Good evening.